boat crash was weighing heavy on him, and it was consuming his life almost, it seemed like, and he was just harder to reach. And there was a couple instances where I referred to him as having his ass on his shoulders, because that's how I felt. It was disrespectful of me to feel that way and to say that out loud, but that's how I felt, because he just wasn't himself with us anymore. He came in and it was just like, yelled our names and just didn't treat us the same way he did prior to the boat accident.
It was that boat accident that many believe really led to the unraveling of Alec Murdaugh, who had been cheating people for years and apparently doing drugs for years as well. But it was that boat crash that really set off all these events that resulted in the murders of his wife Maggie and his son Paul, and he was convicted of that. Chanley Painter has the background now for us on the boat crash case, because this is going to be a trial. It's going to be here on Court TV. Take a listen.
What bridge is, Paul, what bridge is this?
We got a water emergency.
There's 6 of us and 1 is missing.
We have a boat incident underneath the Archer Creek Bridge.
February 24th, 2019, approximately 2:30 a.m. Paul Murdaugh and 5 of his friends were on their way home after a night of partying. The teens were in Paul's father's boat, which they took out that night to avoid DUI checkpoints.
So we've got 1 person presumably in the water missing.
We're under the only bridge in Archer Creek.
There's 6 people on board. They currently have 1 missing.
Who's missing?
Female Mallory Beach is missing.
19-year-old Mallory Beach, her boyfriend, Anthony Cook, and Paul Murdaugh were thrown from the boat after it crashed into a bridge piling. Paul and Anthony Cook made it back to shore, but Mallory Beach was killed. Her body was recovered a week later.
Within 2 months, Paul Murdaugh was facing criminal charges as well as civil suits brought by the Beach family and the survivors of the boat crash. The accident shined a spotlight on Paul and his powerful, well-connected family.
Everybody knows the Murdaughs. You know, it's a household name that's been here forever.
According to the prosecution, the day Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were killed, Alec Murdaugh was under extreme pressure. He had allegedly been stealing from clients and his law firm for more than a decade, and he was working on financial disclosures for an upcoming hearing in the boat crash case. Looking back on the repercussions of that tragic night, Mallory Beach's boyfriend, Anthony Cook, shared in the HBO documentary Lowcountry, The Murdaugh Dynasty, what he believes the impact of her death is.
There's a whole lot of people getting justice because of her. None of it would have ever been discovered if it hadn't been for that boat wreck.
And in this case, you've got Alec Murdaugh as a defendant, and you've got the store that sold the alcohol to Paul Murdaugh. He had his fake ID with him. So that's what the case is about. But what's it going to be like? What is Alec Murdaugh going to be like at this case? You know, we heard so much that he always wanted to clear his son's name. Is that still on his mind now? Let's bring back in our think tank, Al Wunsch, Darnell, Crosland, Jennifer Brandt. Jennifer Brandt, this is a civil case, not a criminal case. Alec Murdaugh, my guess is, will likely be back on the witness stand. What do you expect to hear from him?
A bunch of lies, Vinny, because that's all he knows how to do. I mean, he's just going to lie about everything and try to. I mean, there's really no more money. I don't know what they can get from him. It seems like he has a lot of liability to a lot of different people. So in terms of a civil recovery, I'm not sure what the family can get. But I'm sure he's going to, I don't know if he'll even bother trying to clear his son's name. Maybe he'll try to say, you know, it was because of this, which he said before, that led to his conviction, that it was really people that were mad at Paul and really had nothing to do with him, and maybe he'll proclaim his innocence, even though he's already been convicted.
Al Wunsch, he'll be in a much more familiar type of proceeding. It's a civil case. He's usually on the other side of it. What do you expect to hear from Alec Murdaugh at this trial?
I don't expect to hear from anything at all. I mean, there's no reason to put him on the stand. There's an expression in the law, false in one, false in all. He's previously testified in the murder trial. What kind of
How about the
credible
plaintiffs? So the
information-
plaintiffs call him and put him up on the stand? It's a civil case.
I don't think so. I don't think they need to. I don't. They didn't get a civil reservation, to my knowledge, in the criminal trial. So, you know, I mean, that's something that I always look for if I'm doing something in a criminal case that has ramifications for a civil case. You get a civil reservation. You get a situation now where there is no civil reservation. That means the conviction comes in as evidence. What more do I need? Anything he says is going to be double talk. And I would say Murdaugh is appealing his conviction. So less is more. Why do you want to go on the stand and put yourself in trouble again and have a situation that's going to come back to haunt you down the pike? Take your chance with the appeal and go from there.
To talk.
He may
Darnell,
love to talk, but it's not a smart move in this case.
what are you expecting, Darnell, in this boat crash case from Alec Murdaugh? I know we're going to hear from all these young folks who were on the boat, the survivors, the friends, the family. It's going to be heart-wrenching. It's going to be brutal as they recall the worst day and night of their lives. But what do you expect from Murdaugh?
So just briefly, maybe I'm getting this wrong in the civil world, but the plaintiff, I would definitely want to call Alec to show the fact that look at this type of people that killed my daughter. Look at the mess that comes along with them. Even if they don't have any money, I want to show this to a jury. This is who we're talking about. And so what I think Alec's going to do if he takes the stand is to try to say, we love this young lady. We love all these kids. We feel regretful about this. And then as Jennifer said, I think he might try to backdoor his little appeal route to say that this is why his family was killed. So we're all suffering. We're suffering, they're suffering. And, you know, down in the Lowcountry, this tragedy has affected us all. So try to tie himself back in there.
Up next.